I'm Mark Harding, and I'm here with Simon Majdulski, the Director of Rules and Handicapping at Golf Australia, and we're in the magnificent new clubhouse at Metropolitan in Melbourne. And Simon, today we're going to be talking about the exciting new handicap system that Golf Australia are introducing in the new year.
Mark, yes, terrific to be with you. A lot of things happening around handicapping and all coming up very shortly. New handicap system scheduled to come into effect on 23rd of January 2014, so we're counting down towards then.
And it really is exciting because we do seem to be finally getting a fair and equitable system.
Yeah, look, I think that's right. I think we've got a pretty good handicap system at the moment, but these changes we're bringing in will iron out some of the deficiencies that sit there and will make things generally more equitable for everybody.
Before we go into too much detail about it, how can the golfers find out more about it?
Yeah, there are a variety of ways that golfers can find out more information. One thing we're doing is providing a little one-page flyer for every single golfer in Australia, and that will be provided to you by your pro or your captain or your handicapper in the next couple of months. You can also find out more information by going to the Golf Australia website, which is www.golf.org.au. In addition to that, there'll be posters that will go to every club. They will sit on most club notice boards, so you could go and have a look at that if you're after more information about the various components of the new handicap system.
So for this month, let's focus on one component of it, and let's talk about slope.
Yes, slope is certainly one of the highest profile components of the new handicap system. It's in operation in various other handicap systems around the world, including New Zealand handicap system, the US handicap system, various handicap systems throughout Europe. Slope also operates in some handicap systems in Asia.
So what does slope do for your handicap?
Yeah, I guess with our current handicap system, you basically have a one-size-fits-all handicap. You have a handicap at your own club, and if you then go and play at another club, you play off the same handicap. So if you're a member at a relatively easy course, and then you go and play at a difficult course, your handicap from your easy course, you typically tend to find it quite difficult to adjust to that more difficult course. And we get a lot of, comments from people coming from regional areas, for example, going into metropolitan courses where the courses are a bit more difficult, and they'll provide the feedback that their handicaps they feel just aren't high enough. So what slope will do is it will actually give the player a handicap that is appropriate to the course they'll be playing. So if you're playing a relatively easy course, handicap might be a bit lower. You go and play at a harder course, you'll get more strokes on your handicap. That's basically the concept of slope.
How transportable do you think the system will be?
The new system will be a lot more transportable than the current system. Under the current handicap system, if you're wanting to find out what somebody's handicap is, you'll typically ask them what the handicap is, but then you'll also need to follow up with a secondary question of where are you a member? By knowing where the player is a member, that helps you to determine whether the handicap should be a little bit higher or should be a little bit lower than the figure that they're actually giving you.
So how will slope operate and how does it make it fairer?
So what happens under our current system is that you just have a one-size-fits-all handicap. You have a handicap at your own club and you take that handicap and use it wherever you go and play. Under slope, you don't just have one handicap. What you'll get is a nationally standardised handicap. That handicap will sit on GolfLink, but you won't actually play off that handicap. You'll adjust that handicap according to the slope rating of the course that you're playing on. So if you're playing on a difficult course, you'll get slightly more strokes. If you're playing on an easier course, you'll get slightly less strokes. So you'll have this central handicap index, which will be called the GA handicap, but what you'll be playing off is what we're calling a daily handicap. And you'll need to check what that daily handicap is each time you go out and play.
Now you mentioned that this has been in operation in other countries around the world. Based on that information, do you think that people's handicaps are going to vary much between what they are now and what they will be under the new system?
Yeah, look, it really depends on the slope rating of the course that they're currently playing on. as I say, that they'll have a nationally standardised handicap index, and that will be basically giving them a handicap which would indicate what their ability would be on the neutral slope rated course. So if they're currently playing on a course that's quite a difficult course, their handicap will come down a bit. If they're playing on a course that's currently a relatively easy course, their handicap might go up a bit. The further your course is away from that central figure, the more your new nationally standardised handicap will actually move from your current handicap.
So we're getting a nationally standardised handicap, but how are Golf Link going to introduce that?
Yeah, that's right, Mark. What's happening is that everybody will get this nationally standardised handicap called the GA handicap. In order to do that in preparation for the new system going live on the 23rd of January, GolfLink will actually go offline for a couple of days. And in that period, GolfLink will go through the entire database of millions of scores and it will recalculate every one of them. And if we have a look at an example of a GolfLink record, the key column to focus on is the played to column. Under the current system, somebody might have played to a handicap of, say, 22. What GolfLink will do in the preparation for the 23rd of January is it will recalculate that value of played to 22. If that played to 22 was on a high slope rated course, played to 22 will actually come down slightly. It becomes a better score, a better achievement. So instead of playing to 22 for that round, the player might have played to actually 19. So when the player looks at their handicap record, when the new system comes up and running on the 23rd of January, all of these played to values in their handicap record will have changed, they will have been sloped, they will have been standardised.
So I've had a look at the brochure and it does talk about slope ratings. How does somebody find out whether their home course is rated tougher than the one down the road, or what does a golfer do to find that out?
Yeah, all of the slope ratings for every course in Australia are available from the Golf Australia website, which is www.golf.org.au. So if you just go to the website, you'll be able to find the rating for your course.
The brochure that we have seen talks about a daily handicap. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, the daily handicap is the handicap you play off actually on the day. That's why we've called it the daily handicap. You'll take your central handicap, your GA handicap, and then you apply it to the slope rating of the course, and from that you work out a daily handicap. Players won't actually have to make the mathematical calculation themselves. GolfLink will either do this for them via a daily handicap lookup function on the GolfLink website, or for those players who have scorecards printed for them at their home club, those scorecards would have on them the daily handicap. Or there'll be other players who will just be able to go to the standard computer terminal, and the terminal will have on it what the daily handicap is. And then for other players, again, there'll be these daily handicap lookup charts that will be available, which are very easy to use. There's no player in Australia who will actually have to work out their daily handicap themselves. It will all be displayed for them via one method or another.
So just wrapping up, Simon, if anybody does have any questions about the slope rating and what it might do to their handicap depending on which courses they play, they just have to go to the Golf Australia website and all the answers are there.
That's right, Mark. Yeah, a lot more information on the Golf Australia website, plus all of the slope ratings for every golf course in Australia.
Thank you, Simon.
Thank you, Mark.